about Rebel Moon. So so the point is this: I was watching Gary Nerdrodic's review of Rebel Moon, and it just seemed unhinged to me. Right? It genuinely seems unhinged. He saw it woke in a billion different ways, and I just didn't see it. I mean, yes, it's got a female protagonist, and some women characters. It didn't seem overwhelming. Like when I watched Star Trek Discovery, everyone's a stunning and brave woman being stunning and brave. Oh, I'm a woman. This seemed to have men and women in it, right? Big kind of like archetypal stereotypes, but men and women, right? They were both. So I don't know. I think he was outraged for no reason. Honestly, genuinely no reason whatsoever. And I'm worried that's happening in the Doctor Who world. But again, we'll find out pretty soon. Truth is, though, we will only really find out when I would say Shooter's season's basically done. I suppose with Jodie, we worked out by episode 4 it was I did anyway, unwatchably bad. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about Rebel Moon. So Rebel Moon, new franchise by Zack Snyder, dropped on Netflix a couple of days ago. First movie, it's about 2 hours. I watched bits of it last night, right? And it's about, I watched the whole thing before on Friday, but I rewatched it again so I can get like a better grasp on it. And it's about, 2.25 hours long, and boy, does it rattle by. It just zooms by very happily. So this is a part 1 of 2 stories. So the plot is relatively light. I mean, the whole story is going to be like 4 hours long, and I heard there's a Zack Snyder's director's cut coming out when just before the first part, just before the second part comes out, and then a few months later there's a director's cut of the second part. So yeah, all that sounds very exciting. Now, why they're bothering with director's cuts? I guess for publicity, right? I think this is also a director's cut. Stars Sophia Boutella or something like that. Here, I'll pull up a cast list in a second. And yes, you'll notice she's a chick, right? She's a chick. And yeah, she is kind of Mary. Is she Mary Sue? Not. I didn't find her so. She seemed like this seemed like a normative hero. It wasn't a hero. Right, it was definitely a hero. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this was Zack Snyder's pitch for a Star Wars movie, which was rejected. I think it's good for that, because I think the way that culture evolves and grows in a healthy way is rather than just reinventing and making, rather than just sequelizing and doing so like relentlessly. They should take what they love about the past and make their own versions of it for the future. I mean, like Star Wars was essentially, the Buster Crab, Flash Gordon, and Buck Rogers shows, like King of the Rocket Men, repackaged for the 70s, right? Like Watchmen was the Charlton Heroes, repackaged to be the Watchmen. And once you do that, once you make it your own creation, it has life, it breathes. Doc Savage becomes Indiana Jones, right? It's the same sort of thing. So yeah, obviously this has nowhere near the same cultural impact, or in fact, it's as good and innovative as the 77 Star Wars, right? It's significantly better than everything Disney Star Wars. Significantly better. And one of the troubles is being a Star Wars reject. You keep trying to think, well, how does this? Yeah, how is this translated? Like, what Star Wars is this? Was this a sequel? An episode in the sequel trilogy, the first part of the sequel trilogy, which actually would have sounded quite good. Does it take place between Jedi and whatever like post Jedi, or does it take place, in between the Clone Wars and Star Wars, like Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars? So I don't know where it fit in the Star Wars, and your brain keeps going to that a lot. So my first reason I don't think this was, having a female lead was particularly woke, was that she was hot, right? And I think that really makes a very important difference, right? That Now, when I say she's hot, it depends on your taste. Not really. I like, yeah, she looks attractive here. I'm not like repulsed, right? But it doesn't really do it for me. If you are into a sort of a Terminator 2 Linda Hamilton thing, yeah, you're gonna be very turned on, right? You're gonna be like, okay, fine. I've seen people complaining about the fight scenes being very slow-mo and forced. As somebody who doesn't really know what they're looking at all when I see a fight scene, it's everything seemed totally fine to me. It seemed enjoyable. Again, this 2 hours 50 minutes just rattled by very, very, very quickly. So again, this was a Star Wars pitch. The pitch was the Magnificent Seven with Jedi, essentially in the Star Wars, or Magnificent Seven in the Star Wars universe. So now it's not Star Wars universe. I just think it's better for it. The design aesthetic is really good, right? It's much more Mobius sci-fi than a sci-fi comic book like Guardians of Hyena sort of thing than 1970s Star Wars, right? And it's really good for that, right? That it's got kind of a Battleship Potemkin kind of feel to it. And again, it's really good for that. That it's something that it's its own thing. Even though I'm referencing other things, it's its own thing. So the story is told reasonably well as well. This is by far Zack Snyder's best original work. Like by far. I like the Watchmen movie he did. I like the Ultimate Cut a lot. I think that's really like the 3.5 hour one a lot. I like Justice League a lot, right? I think the idea of splitting this 4-hour movie into two was very good. And frankly, this is just kind of like the opening act, right? I think it's going to get crazy in the second part. And I really hope we see more of this universe, right? Which is, I'm finding really, really, really entertaining. You know, I'm genuinely, I'm genuinely interested in it, right? I am, right? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So the story is the story is reasonably thin, but again, it doesn't really matter. Again, Paul tells the story is great. It's only the first half of the story. The second half happens in April. The story is basically you have this mysterious stranger from the Galactic Central. You have like an evil empire that got a lot more. You had kind of a normal empire, which could have been benevolent, could have been evil, that went totally evil when the emperor was assassinated. Right, emperor and apparently his daughter and his wife was assassinated. It's heavily intimated the daughter's coming back in the second part. And they've been the evil empire ever since then. So starts off, you're on this like little farming world, and this woman Sophia, whatever. Let me pull up a cast list in 1 second. Rebel Moon, doink. Because this is because the nature of this movie is it's all about the cast, right? Everything is about the cast going. So Sophia Bultella as Kara. So she's a farmer on this farming. Again, Kara's going on about how she was the bestest farmer ever. I didn't really pick up on that, right? It didn't seem that bad at all on this farming world. And they're doing the harvest, and they're all peaceful, nice farmers, and they have a big harvest festival. And then the leader of their little band of villagers say, "Now go and shag each other! Yay! Part of the festival." And so they all go off and shag. And so she's a stranger to the village. They found her in a crash craft. They don't know what the deal was with her. She's been very shady about her past. So anyway, the Empire shows up. We'll call it the Empire. I don't know what they call it. We'll call it the Empire because that's essentially what they are. Well, they look a lot better, right? The Empire shows up and they're bad. They're super duper duper bad. The Empire is led by this super evil guy. I can't remember his name. Was it Ed Skrein? But again, you get to see that like that very very. I like it. It's got its own design look, its own design aesthetic, right? And he's super evil, right? So he wants the villagers' grain, and they start, just being, you're not being very friendly, right? They murder a bunch of people. I don't really want to spoil it for you, because I want you to watch it. And anyway, the atrocities, keep on going. They leave a garrison there to watch over them after they've been subdued, to make sure they get the grain. The garrison have the same kind of women's rights that Hamas do. Not many. One of the most interesting characters, though, where as they're unpacking, they pull the lever on this box, and this robot gets out, voiced by Anthony Hopkins. This character is brilliant. I think you get little snippets of it, but the world building's really good, right? And I'm really invested in this world building. So these were like some elite robot guards who refused to fight and been pacifists ever since the fallen king was slain. That he's voiced by Anthony Hopkins is it transforms the character, right? It makes him into a contemplative, more interesting character. So this girl gives him a necklace of flowers, which is going to progress into the next movie, because we've seen like character pictures of them looking with all kind of different things going on. But clearly he's going to break his no fighting rule next episode. So essentially they have to go. Sophia Boutella has to go, and after an incident with the garrison Levi, she has to go and recruit people to save them in the oncoming fight they're going to have when the main ship comes back, which is going to be in like 3 months or something like that, to take all their wheat so they can all starve to death over the winter. So at that point, it essentially becomes the first half of the Magnificent Seven. She goes to a bar looking for the link to the rebels against the Empire, and meets up with Charlie Hunnam, who's essentially a Han Solo-esque smuggler, trader, and so he agrees to take them, her and her boyfriend. The other guy played was it Zario, whatever he is, this bloke, on a quest to find this their contacts with the rebels. So people have been complaining about his accent in it. I don't know. Didn't sound. I haven't been distracted by any of this shit, right? I really haven't been distracted by any of this shit at all, right? I just was carry along with the story, and the visuals and all those things work, right? And really, again, the story and the visuals work, right? So again, most of this movie is like finding and recruiting these abilities of incredible abilities, right? So you get, that's apparently Ray Fisher. You find him at the end. He's like the last one they get, I think. I can't remember, but you get this guy Nasir, who I kind of remember from Downton Abbey, the first season of Downton Abbey. Good-looking lad. He there's a really breathtaking griffin riding sequence with him as they gamble for his freedom, and then he stops off if they're looking for this general, they stop off and they find he knows where this woman is, who's essentially she's a Jedi witch who uses lightsabers, like her swords suddenly light up and turn red. And again, people are like, oh, that swordplay was shit. It seems as good as anything I saw in Empire Strikes Back, frankly. Finally, they get to Jimanju Hussein, who's a broken and dejected general. I guess he would probably have been a clone warrior, right? My guess. And they want to raise him back up to his former stature so he can lead the impossible fight against the Empire. And look, and so that again, by the end, 2 hours later, you got this group of people, and there's a shock. Then you get a few shock action pieces as the interesting plot points happen. Again, spoiler free review, because it should be spoiler free, because it's actually reasonably bloody good, right? It's one of the strongest dragon riding. Oh, sorry, wrong IP. Well, I thought that's the adult version. So, but yeah, no, look. I think this is certainly the strongest IP launch. I hate that we're talking that thing in that way for, I don't know, a long time. Since Harry Potter, probably. Yeah. It's been the strongest IP launch since Harry Potter. That's how I would describe it. I don't understand what people are mad at it for. It's just fun sci-fi that looks interesting with lots of good world building, right? I'm really interested to know more about this world. I'm interested to know more about these characters. I'm interested to know what the deal is with it. There's a real weight and realism, I feel, about a lot of this stuff. I always like Zack Snyder's direction. I like the action. I like the slow-mo. I just think it all works, right? I just think it all works. So for me, Rebel Moon, strong recommend, right? Strong recommend. I mean, look, maybe I'm sweet because I like the price. But yeah, no, I genuinely thought it was excellent, right? So, and I would weigh, why is Matt Smith in it? Is he in it? I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing more. They have that Godzilla show on Apple TV. I stopped watching it about 3 episodes ago. I'm just bored. This I'd watch more of, right? So it's that is a definite recommend, right? That's a definite strong recommend. We don't get many of them anymore, right? We don't. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop.